Popular culture is a contested term, so there are many theories that attempt to define it. Story argued that defining popular culture is possibly pointless. However, he did say of popular culture that it is the general process of intellectual, spiritual, and aesthetic development. Conversely, it has been described as residual culture, what is left once high culture has been defined. But what does this mean for us consuming it? I wanted to understand how popular culture affects our everyday ideologies. Specifically, I wanted to look at masculinity. I completed a discourse analysis of the BBC Three drama 13. I analysed the way masculinity was portrayed and how this may affect the way we understand popular culture. This show is based around Ivy, a 26-year-old woman who has been falsely imprisoned for the last 13 years. This show explores how the family unit copes with her coming home and learning to deal with Ivy's trauma. This show is set around such extreme circumstances that I was interested to understand what behaviours may arise as the characters interact within these parameters. One of the characters I analysed was Craig. He is the fiancé of Ivy's sister Emma. He displays possessive behaviour over Emma and displays jealousy when her priorities shift when Ivy comes home. He refers to Emma as my girl, first in an affectionate manner, but he then uses it as means of reclaiming his own. He feels threatened when Emma begins to spend more time with her sister. He tries to drive a wedge between the relationship, and when there is no sign of change, Craig leaves. This suggests that not only does Craig see Emma as his property, but also the lack of support he brings to their relationship. In order to feel close to Emma, he has the urge to possess her. He refuses to support any endeavours that will only make Emma happy. Popular culture is guilty of promoting a specific idea of masculinity, a hegemonic masculinity. The specific ideas being portrayed here are that a man should take ownership of his woman, but should not have to put up with anything that will not serve him. This is a very narrow view of masculinity within a relationship, and one that Connell suggests is a particular form of easily digestible masculinity, and one that can be mass-produced. This supports the ideas of MacDonald, who described popular culture as unchallenging. So popular culture is a thing that needs challenging, otherwise it will begin to alienate the ever-growing diversity within our society. Popular culture is described as being produced for the masses. The discourse is that the masses must identify with the characters they see in popular culture. An example of this is, which character are you? If popular culture is not challenged to change, then it will cause limitations in the ideological growth within the masses. Popular culture has the power to create mass trends, and so we need to challenge the ideologies it is perpetuating. Popular culture sustains the status of masculinity through Connell's ideas on binary opposites. Masculinity is only allowed its status through the construction of its inferior, femininity. 13 has many examples of how masculinity is a more dominant force than femininity. The most glaring example of this is the main character, Ivy. Ivy's main characteristic is that she is the victim of imprisonment. She is portrayed as a callow and vulnerable woman. She has effeminate mannerisms, such as stroking her hair whilst looking into the eyes of male characters, and she wears a pink cardigan throughout to reaffirm the character's femininity. Through her status as a victim, we see that Ivy is stripped of any power that she might have or gain throughout the series. In one of Ivy's very first scenes, she is denied her identity and is treated with suspicion. She has to ask for validation from the police, as they are the ones who have the power to grant her with an identity. This shows that this feminine character has no power and is at the will of more masculine forces. The weakness of femininity has become a powerful discourse and is the greatest reason we have a glass ceiling for female professionals. Seeing this in such an extreme form in popular culture can risk reinforcing non-progressive ideologies. This suggests that popular culture is not a progressive force. It can actively limit what we perceive about masculinity by perpetuating traditional values under the title of media for the masses. We can understand the power of such discourses by imagining how the show would be different if Ivy was a boy. So why does popular culture do this? Popular culture creates pre-digested media. The audience is already aware of what they are paying to experience, as they have experienced it before. This is another way of saying because it's easier. This strengthens the argument that popular culture has the ability to change everyday discourses, but it doesn't, because it then runs the risk of losing its mass audience.